All right, and I am doing an unboxing of the brand new 2001 EVA Pod that I just got today in the mail. This kit is massive. As you can see by my hand, it's a very large box. Let's see if I can set it down. Actually, let me kind of show you the different sides of it. So there's the front, the cool artwork on it. Sides are the same. And you have the back of it. Shows you pictures of the kit and some of the details for it, including the full interior, which is pretty cool. A bit of a description about it, the extra vehicular activity pods. All right. Very, very cool. So, as I said, this thing is humongous. Try to get a bigger picture, just how thick it is, and it's big. I think the dimensions are pretty much the same dimensions as the Discovery, except it's much thicker. This kit is pretty huge. It's pretty massive. So, all right. So let's go ahead. Get down, kitty. You think it's big too? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this opened up and kind of go over some of the cool features inside. All right. Okay, so here's the inside of the box, and the side of the box has some artwork on it as well, like they did with some of their other kits, which is pretty cool. I'm sorry, Dave, but I can't do that. Can't open the pod bay doors. Some other artwork on the sides of it. So it's definitely a very large kit. Here are the instructions. So you've got, let's see, looks like 11, 12 pages if you count the back. Showing the decal placement on it. The decal placement inside the controls, which is pretty extensive. It's pretty amazing. I really like that a lot. I will be getting some aftermarket parts for this. Definitely the photo etch, which from what I understand is designed to cover these control sections but leave the buttons and the panels exposed. So you can paint that the black, and then you can have the other parts lit up from behind and using the decals. So we'll see. We'll take a look at this kit, but quite a few instructions, obviously, as you can see. Fairly extensive build, which is expected since you have the full interior, the exterior. You have the arms, which have several parts, and they are positionable, which is really, really cool. All right, so that's really nice. Then we apparently have two different sets of decals. I don't want to take this out just yet, but it looks like this is the control panels on the inside. I'm gonna guess that this, let me see, looks like these are some of the details on the outside, like the striping on the arms and that kind of thing. So two separate set of decals, which is cool. Okay. All right, then we have the kit itself. So right off the bat, we have some of the control panels with some raised buttons. Now, there have been some questions about this kit in the sense that people wanted it to be molded in clear, which would be cool. So you can light up these buttons. Now we'll see. I've had a lot of success with lighting through the plastic because, as somebody pointed out on one of the Facebook channels that I'm on, we are constantly masking the bare plastic because light gets through. That's why we have to mask it and paint it black. That's why there's a photo etch set that masks everything but the buttons for that reason. So, and then some people have said, well, you'll need some bright lights. What I've done and what I'm doing right now on my Borg Discovery is I'm using some Mega LEDs, which are pretty good sized. I think they're like 3mm by 3mm. They're surface mounted LEDs. They put out a lot of light. And what I'm thinking of doing is, I'm not going to try to do a bunch of different colored lights to match it up. That effect can be easily achieved by putting on some clears, some paints, and using just a clear, just like a white light, bright white behind it, and letting it shine through. Likewise, when you have these panels here where you're going to have an opening, I'm not sure if it comes with clear plastic or not, but I could put some there, some styrene, and put the decal on it. And once again, a white light shining from behind is going to do the job for me. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. But so here's a sprue with some of the controls on it. Okay. And this is the first time I've looked at this as well. All right, yeah, so here we go. So here's quite a bit of clear sprue, which is really cool. There's the cockpit window, which is kind of neat. Looks like those are some clear for the panels that you'd put your decals on, so that's cool as well. I could probably frost those from behind. There's another one for it. Quite a few, actually. So those are kind of cool. So some of them do have the clear, which is nice. And I think that those would actually shine better than if you were... some of them need to be brighter, like the panels and the lights and things like that, versus the buttons. The buttons are just kind of, you know, lit there and showing, but they're not the most prominent. So that should be fine as well. Hold on one second here. Sorry, just want to adjust that a bit. Okay. All right, so I think that's pretty cool. Those are going to be really neat. I believe these little domes are for the headlights, which are kind of cool. That's pretty sweet. All right, so that's awesome. Okay, and this looks like a sprue with several of the arms pieces, or part of the arm pieces. We also have some of the exhausts, like the rocket exhausts that are coming out. So that's kind of neat. Here's another one with some more of the various exhausts. There's quite a few. I didn't realize there were that many on the kit. More pieces for the arms, which are quite extensive. That's pretty cool. All right, and then this piece here is definitely the sides. Those are really detailed with the different parts, including holes. Okay, so that's where some of these exhausts go, these little holes right here. So there's 5 alone just on this one. So that's 10 if you count both sides. And there's some side pieces there as well, which is kind of cool. This thing is humongous. This is a tremendously large kit. Oh my goodness, yeah, there you go. Here's the bottom of it. You have that whole bottom piece, which I never quite understood what that was. I always thought it was supposed to be some kind of a rocket, but that's way too big. There's no room to have any kind of propulsion shooting out of this from the bottom of the kit, but it's kind of cool looking. All right, so the bottom's one piece. And let's see. I'm guessing that part there is something on the inside of the kit. All right, and this is just a rudimentary going over the interior. I'm not going to take these all apart and look at them. I might view a few parts. We'll see. All right, yeah, there's another piece inside with all the controls on it. Which is kind of cool. Looks like this is the ceiling of the interior, which is really big. There's the window. And the detail on the inside of that. It's kind of cool. All right, and then we get to the actual giant pieces of this kit to just give you an idea of the size of this monster. Look at this. 10.5 inches, I believe, is the height of it. There's the back door that's able to be opened, which is really awesome. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Look at the size of that thing. And you have the front of it. Yep, and there's the little nice cool looking ridged opening, or the part surrounding the cockpit, and the really giant lights. This thing's going to be super simple to light because it is just so large. There will be plenty of room inside of this to light this with no problem at all. And typically the lights I use are the 3 volts, and I'll have like a AA battery pack inside, possibly 2. But that's tremendous. This thing's amazingly large. See if I can just kind of put that together. Get an idea. There we go. All right. So there we go. That thing is just mammoth. Wow. So here's my head compared to this thing. I don't know if there's an adage to never build a model bigger than your head, but this one is clearly bigger than my head. This thing is just tremendously large. All right, so that's just phenomenal. All right, and this I really like. This is really cool. When I saw they were doing this, I just loved it. Look at that. It's chrome interiors for the headlamps. So that's amazing. Save you the trouble of painting it or coming up with something else. And those are really nice. Those are really shiny. So that should be super simple to light up. Doesn't look like there's a hole through the back, but I can easily drill a hole to accommodate an LED, an SMD, and have those chrome from behind the lights. And that's going to look really amazing and authentic. So that's a cool feature. Kudos to Moebius. That's really awesome. I love that a lot. All right, and then the last sprue, giant sprue. At the bottom, you got the back door. This looks like it's in 2 pieces. It goes together. You've got the some more inside panels here. Looks like these are the front panels on it that go on the front. I think you got, there's the one with How and the other 2 side pieces, so that's kind of cool. And again, How is extremely large. That's going to be super easy to light with a red LED and make that look really authentic. So, all right, so there we go. So that's an amazingly giant kit. Quite a lot of parts on there. Very excited to build this at some point. I'm not starting it just yet, but this is definitely a build here somewhere down the road here shortly. All right. All right, so I did just want to show a few of the parts, especially the clear sprue, which is really cool. So there are your lenses that go onto the headlamps, which is really awesome. Your main cockpit window, which is really nice and clear. Has that curve in it. It's going to be really cool. And then you do have little inserts like right there, and those ones that go over the screens. So you'll have your decals on the clear to light them up. There's also some parts that go on the top. I believe that one there, those ones I think, that you light the cockpit with the red glow. And then you do have some controls like right there for the top panel. These 2 that are 2 of the side panels that glow. So you could mask the parts that you want to glow and then paint the rest of it. So that's kind of cool. All right, and then as far as the plastic parts, they are definitely translucent, as you can see. All I'm doing is holding up against the light in the background. Very translucent. And the buttons as well. I mean, in reality, real buttons on a control panel are a piece of plastic that has a light behind it. So I think this will be fine as far as these buttons are concerned to light them up in these panels, that kind of thing. Especially if you have a piece of photo etch that fits over this whole piece and leaves these exposed and these exposed. So you can paint that black and have only light shining through the areas that you want to. And then what I'm planning on doing since you have this here, you can even hollow that out a little bit more if you wanted to. I probably wouldn't, just because I don't want to go too deep and have the buttons come off for some reason. But I can use the same method I'm using on my Borg Discovery, and put some 5-minute epoxy over these, and maybe put a couple of LEDs behind it, or some small ones, or even a large one. And that whole epoxy acts like a light box. So once you seal the light facing down into it over the epoxy, you put a white coat over it to make it reflective, and then you put a black coat to mask it in and hold the light in, so the light only comes out through these buttons or these controls. So that could be done very easily on this. And then what I could do is take some clear Tamiya colors like red, blue, green, whatever, paint them on top of it, so it just gives the different colors that I want. And I believe these little sections are probably decals as well. So I think this is going to be fine. Certainly clear, you would have more challenges because it would be too clear and the light would have to be diffused anyway. So in a way, this diffuses it for you, and it still gives you the effect that you want. So the brightest parts that I want to see are going to be obviously where the decals are for the different control monitors, the monitors on there, and those have a clear piece. So, but even with the clear piece, I'm still going to want to probably sand that and diffuse it somewhat, so I don't have any hot spots behind it. So quite honestly, I like this idea better than the clear. I think it's going to eliminate hot spots for these buttons because they're not the brightest part of the kit anyway. They're going to be lit and they're going to be different colors, but they're going to be kind of a background lighting versus the main lights and the screens and the red coming into the ship and that sort of thing. So, all right, so quite pleased with this kit. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, I'm not going to start building it right away, but definitely on my to-do list. And I still have to get the photo etch for it. So, all right. So, fantastic kit. I highly recommend it. Well worth the money, especially for this gigantic, massive kit and the full interior as well. So, okay. All right. Well, thank you to all my subscribers. Check this out. I got mine on culttvman.com, which I pretty much buy exclusively from if I can. Got a good deal on that as well. All right. Well, thanks a lot, and I will see you all in the future.